Pineapple gets a bad rap because it tastes very sweet, but sweetness alone doesn't tell the whole story about how a food affects your blood sugar. A standard serving of fresh pineapple, about 1 cup of chunks, contains natural sugars, mostly fructose and glucose, but it also brings fiber, vitamin C, manganese, and a mixture of enzymes called bromelain. Those nutrients and compounds change how pineapple behaves in your body compared with an equivalent amount of refined sugar. The fiber slows the rate at which sugar moves from your gut into the bloodstream, so you usually get a more gradual rise in glucose than you would from a sugary candy bar or soda. That effect isn't huge. Pineapple is still a moderate glycemic fruit, but it's meaningful when you think about overall meal composition and portion size. Bromelain, the enzyme people often talk about, is interesting because it helps break down proteins and has been studied for digestive and mild anti-inflammatory effects. The direct evidence that bromelain lowers blood sugar is limited. Most human studies focus on digestion, swelling, or pain rather than glucose control. Still, better digestion and reduced gut inflammation can indirectly help metabolic health for some people. Antioxidants in pineapple, especially vitamin C, help counter oxidative stress, which is one of the processes that worsens insulin resistance over time. So there are plausible biological reasons pineapple can fit into a blood sugar-friendly diet, even if it's not a medicine for diabetes. Practical context matters. If you eat pineapple on its own in large amounts, you'll get a bigger glucose rise than if you eat a smaller portion paired with protein, fat, or other fiber. For example, an ounce of nuts or a spoonful of Greek yogurt served with pineapple will blunt the blood sugar spike compared with eating the same amount of fruit alone. That's because protein and fat slow gastric emptying and stimulate different hormonal responses that keep glucose steadier. Also avoid concentrated forms. Pineapple juice and canned pineapple in syrup deliver sugar rapidly and lack the fiber that helps slow absorption. They behave more like sugary drinks. There are also real cautions to keep on your radar. If you have diabetes or are taking blood sugar-lowering medications, portion control is essential and you should monitor your response. Different people show different glucose curves after the same food. Bromelain can interact with certain medications. For example, it may increase the effects of blood thinners or interact with some antibiotics. So if you're on prescription drugs, check with your healthcare provider before taking bromelain supplements or eating very large amounts of pineapple regularly. People with fructose malabsorption can also feel GI symptoms from large servings. Finally, when fruit is processed, canned in heavy syrup or concentrated in juice, it loses the moderating factors that make fresh pineapple a smarter sweet choice. So, what's the bottom line for including pineapple in a blood sugar-conscious diet? First, enjoy it. You don't need to avoid pineapple out of fear. Think serving size. 1/2 cup to 1 cup of fresh chunks is a reasonable portion for most people. Pair pineapple with protein or healthy fat, yogurt, cottage cheese, ricotta, a handful of almonds, to blunt spikes. Prefer fresh or frozen pineapple without added syrup. Skip the juice unless you intend it as a treat and account for it in your total carbs. If you have diabetes, try checking your blood sugar before and 60 to 90 minutes after eating pineapple the first few times so you know how your body responds. If you take medications that affect clotting or digestion, mention pineapple/bromelain to your clinician. In practical meal terms, pineapple works great when used to bring sweetness and vitamin C to balanced plates, a small fruit salsa over grilled fish, a few chunks mixed into plain yogurt with seeds, or blended into a smoothie that includes spinach, protein powder, and avocado. Those combinations give you pleasure, micronutrients, and a much gentler blood sugar effect than reaching for processed sweets. If you want, I can give a few concrete serving examples with estimated carbohydrate counts and sample snack or meal ideas tailored to a specific calorie or carb target. I can also list the known medication interactions involving bromelain if you're taking something specific. Just tell me the medication, and I'll include that in plain language.